Hey guys, Toast here. There are many people who are new to the Battlefield franchise, or even those who have been longtime players, for whom it couldn't hurt to have a quick refresher as to how to put yourself in the mindset of a Battlefield player. Regardless of what you're doing in Battlefield 1, these should be thoughts that are constantly playing through your head over and over in order to be a better overall player, a stronger asset to your team, and ultimately help you and your team win the game. Regardless of whether you're firing at an enemy, trying to take out a heavy tank, or mowing down infantry in an attack plane, everything you do in Battlefield 1 should be under the guise of either attacking or defending an objective. In many other large first-person shooter franchises like Halo, Call of Duty, or Titanfall, the focus of the most popular game modes tends to be on which players can get the most kills the quickest, and that team generally tends to be the one to win the game. Kill-death ratio and total kills are the stats that most players deem important and try to focus their mind on. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that kills are not important whatsoever in Battlefield 1, of course they are, and of course they hold some weight, but ultimately it's the attention that you pay to the objective, either directly or indirectly, that's going to make or break whether your team wins the game. While you're likely to see some players with high kills toward the top of the scoreboard, you're even more likely to see players up there who have lower kills but have really focused on the objectives. The stats that you should be paying attention to in objective-based game modes like Conquest or Rush are flags captured and defended, or objectives armed and disarmed, and ultimately how often you win compared to how often you lose. At the end of the day, if you've done your best to pay attention to what objectives need to be taken and what objectives need to be defended, and what you can do to initiate or help that, I think you'll find that your overall experience will be better and your score will reflect that. In most other first-person shooter franchises, save perhaps for PlanetSide 2, your minimap generally gives you most of the information that you need, and while paying attention to footsteps and some other sounds can be useful, there isn't too much extra information that's really going to change the way in which you play the game. Now, your minimap in Battlefield 1 can still be an extremely important tool, as spotted enemies will still show up, allies will show up, players who were recently killed will show up, which is of particular importance to medics, as these are players who could potentially be revived, and stationary vehicles will show up, letting you know the closest location to help your assaults take out enemy vehicles. You can also adjust the size of your minimap and level of zoom in the options, allowing you to have a larger and more widespread tool at your disposal. However, sound in Battlefield 1 can make a really huge difference in the game. DICE, as per normal, has done an amazing job at crafting a sound engine that not only immerses you in the battle at hand, but also gives you incredibly helpful audio clues to help you analyze what's going on around you. Anything from hearing the gallop of an enemy cavalry closing the gap, to the roar of a heavy tank that may shortly be coming over the horizon, to the sounds of your teammates requesting ammo and health. Even the sound of a teammate getting knifed in the back can be useful because that can let you know that danger is near. Since enemies no longer show up on the minimap simply from firing their unsuppressed weapons, attention to the direction of gunshots and the sound of the gunfire itself will help you distinguish an enemy's location and what type of weapon and class you can expect to encounter should you decide to engage. Listen to this quick clip in which there are so many sounds that can help me gauge what's going on around me.
See an enemy medic!
We have taken objective apples.
Enemy! Machine gun! One of theirs!
Pay attention to all the sounds around you and use it to your advantage to have a heightened awareness of the battlefield. Often in FPS games, you have little more communication with your team than a couple of GGs at the end of the game, or perhaps slinging some insults when your team happens to lose. Communication in the Battlefield franchise is essential to success. DICE has done a great job of providing your team tools in which to communicate with one another, ranging from VoIP with your squad mates, to quick communication options allowing you to request ammo and health, thank your teammates for an action, or request objectives to be updated. And on the PC, you also have the chat box as a handy tool to communicate with your squad, your team, or even the enemy team if you so choose. The reason for all these options is that communication is the foundation of a solid win. Even things as simple as marking objectives as the squad leader is a form of communication to ensure that those who are partied with you understand where to focus their attention for the greater good of the team. One thing that's no longer present in the game is the commander role, which is essentially a leader for each team that communicated with the squad leaders to form a network of communication from the top down. However, now that this is gone from the game, communication within your team and your squad becomes much more paramount. The team that can best get across to one another which objectives to focus on and where help is needed is likely going to be the team that's going to win the match. So remember, use all of the communication methods you have at your disposal whenever possible. You may think that you are the best scout in Battlefield 1, and honestly, for all I know, you very well might be. But if your squad has 4 scouts and you decide to go with a 5th scout, you're probably doing more harm than good. And this goes for all classes, by the way, not just for scouts. There are 5 players to a squad and 4 base classes available to play, so ideally there should only be 1 class duplicated in each squad. Each of the classes in Battlefield 1 has something to add to the support of their squad and team, whether that be the medic's ability to heal and revive, the support's ability to provide ammo, the scout's ability to flare areas marking enemies for their teammates, or the assault's ability to take out vehicles threatening their squad. All of these are very important not only to a balanced team composition, but to squad composition as well. With a well-balanced squad that sticks together, you're as prepared as you can possibly be to tackle all situations that Battlefield 1 can throw at you. This means that understanding how to play each role becomes crucial, as you need to be able to switch to what's needed within your squad. If you see that your squad is in need of a role, don't be stubborn. Be the one to take on the challenge of switching roles, and don't be afraid to encourage your teammates to vary it up a bit if need be. I've said this before in past videos, but I feel like it requires repeating, as I never see it frequently enough. DICE has given you a great mechanic that provides your team with a wealth of information requiring nothing more than the simple press of a key or button. With that one easy movement, you've not only pointed out on the minimap where the enemy is located, you've also allowed your teammates to see a marker over their head on the screen, which helps to gauge how far away they are based on the marker's size, as well as what class they are or vehicle they may happen to be in. Rarely in a game can one single action result in so much benefit that can be done very simply by all classes regardless of skill or time played. The more enemies spotted at any given time, the more intel your team has to carry out their plans to win the game. If everyone on the team paid even just a little bit of extra attention to this mechanic, there's a good chance that the majority of the enemy team would be spotted at nearly all times. And there's also a benefit to you for doing it. You get points for every enemy spotted that your teammates kill, and even more points when they're killed by a squad mate. This adds up really quickly over time. It also benefits you to spot an enemy with whom you're currently engaged in battle, because there's always a chance that even if you have the upper hand, the battle may not go your way, and if your teammates know the location or direction of the enemy that just killed you, it's much more likely that they'll be able to clean up the remains and maybe even revive you if all goes well. Now I want to know what you think are some important things to keep at the forefront of your mind while playing Battlefield 1. Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content, please subscribe and share the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Toast, and I'll talk to you soon.